Hello, class. Today we're going to be learning about Daniel in the lion's den. I'm going to read to you, and this is out of our story Bible that we use. And so I'm going to read the story of Daniel in the lion's den. It's out of the book of Daniel in the Bible, and it's chapter 6. Daniel was different. A good spirit was in him. And the king planned to set Daniel over the whole kingdom. Then the other officials came to the king. They said, "O King Darius, live forever. The king should establish a law. Whoever prays to any god or man except to you, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, O king, sign the law. Then it cannot be changed." King Darius signed the law. When Daniel knew that the law had been signed, he went to his house. He got down on his knees 3 times a day. He prayed and gave thanks before his God, as he had done before. Then these men found Daniel praying before his God. They said, "Daniel is one of the exiles from Judah. He does not listen to you, O king. He prays 3 times a day." Then the king was very upset. He set his mind to deliver Daniel. These men said, "No, O king, that it is a law. What the king establishes cannot be changed." Then Daniel was brought and cast into the den of lions. The king declared to Daniel, "May your God, whom you serve, continually deliver you." He's saying, "May your God save you, Daniel." Because King Darius really liked Daniel, but he kind of was tricked into signing that law. And once the law was established and signed, it couldn't be changed. A stone was brought and laid on the mouth of the den. The king sealed it. Then the king went to his palace. He spent the night fasting. Sleep fled from him. He couldn't sleep. Then, at break of day, the king went quickly to the den of lions. He cried out, "O Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God been able to deliver you? Did your God save you?" Then Daniel said, "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel. He shut the lions' mouths. They have not harmed me." Then the king was very glad. He commanded that Daniel be taken up out of the den. No kind of harm was found on him because he had trusted in his God. Then those men who had said bad things about Daniel were cast into the den of lions. Before they reached the bottom of the den, the lions overpowered them. They broke all their bones in pieces. Now I'm going to read to you out of Daniel and the Tattletales. This is a little different version of it, kind of a simpler one, and maybe it'll help you really understand it a little bit better. This is called Daniel and the Tattletales. That's what those men were doing. They were tattling on Daniel. They wanted to get him in trouble with the king, but King Darius really liked Daniel. "There goes Daniel," said Prince 1. "He is working again." "He works all the time," said Prince 2. "He does a good job, too." "I wish Daniel would get into trouble," said Prince 3. "Then the king would like us better." Prince 1, Prince 2, and Prince 3 watched Daniel. They watched Daniel work hard. They listened when Daniel told the truth. They grumbled when the king smiled at Daniel. "Let's spy on Daniel," said Prince 1. "Maybe we can get him into trouble." Sounds like they were jealous of him. Prince 1, Prince 2, and Prince 3 watched Daniel. They watched Daniel work. Daniel worked hard. Prince 1, Prince 2, and Prince 3 peeked in the window. They watched Daniel. Daniel knelt down and folded his hands. Daniel prayed to God. Prince 1, Prince 2, and Prince 3 listened at the palace. Daniel talked to the king. The king smiled at Daniel. See them spying on him there? Prince 1, Prince 2, and Prince 3 peeked in the window. They watched Daniel. Daniel knelt down and he folded his hands. Daniel prayed to God. Prince 1, Prince 2, and Prince 3 grumbled. Daniel is too good, said Prince 1. Daniel works and prays, said Prince 2. He works and prays, said Prince 3. That's it. They all jumped up. That's it. Daniel prays to God, said Prince 1. Daniel prays to God every day. The king can make a new law, said Prince 2. Everybody must pray to the king. People who don't pray to the king will be punished, said Prince 3. People who don't pray to the king will be thrown into the lion's den. That's how they used to punish people. The lions would eat them up. Prince 1, Prince 2, and Prince 3 put on their finest clothes. They wore their best smiles. They walked to the palace. Your Majesty, said Prince 1. Your Majesty, you are so wonderful, said Prince 2. Your Majesty, people should pray to you, said Prince 3. The king listened to Prince 1. He listened to Prince 2. He listened to Prince 3. The king liked the idea. He made a new law. Everybody must pray to me, commanded the king. No one may pray to God. People who disobey will be thrown into the lion's den. Daniel heard about the new law. Daniel went home to pray. This new law, everybody must pray to the king, not to God. Prince 1, Prince 2, and Prince 3 peeked in the window. Daniel knelt down and folded his hands. He did not pray to the king. Daniel prayed to God. Your Majesty, said Prince 1, your new law says everyone should pray to you. But someone is praying to God, said Prince 2. Someone is disobeying you. That is not good, said the king. This person must be punished. He must be thrown into the lion's den. Who is this person? Daniel, said Prince 3. Daniel prays to God. The king was sad. The king liked Daniel. He did not want Daniel to be hurt, but he could not help him. The king commanded sadly, throw Daniel into the lion's den. Prince 1, Prince 2, and Prince 3 smiled. They were pretty happy. Sadly, they were pretty happy. The king went to bed. He was so upset. He could not sleep. The king was awake all night. In the morning, the king ran to the lion's den. Daniel, called the king. Daniel, did your God save you? Yes, your Majesty, Daniel called back. God sent an angel to keep me safe from the lions. God saved me. The king commanded, take Daniel out of the lion's den. Throw Prince 1, Prince 2, and Prince 3 into the lion's den. The king figured out Prince 1, Prince 2, and Prince 3 were trying to get Daniel in trouble. Do you think that the mouths of the lions were closed when they were thrown in there? Then the king commanded, everyone must pray to Daniel's God. God protected Daniel from the lions. Daniel's God is the real God. The end. Now, I'm going to switch the camera back to me. Okay. I'm going to try. Well, it doesn't seem to be working. Okay, so we're going to pray. Dear Jesus, thank you for loving me. Thank you for protecting me. Help me remember that you are the one true God. Help me trust in you. Help me not to be afraid. Amen. Thank you for listening.